No one survived seeing my final form, she warned. He answered, then I'll die seeing you as you are. The sky above the shattered world was green fire. It licked across the atmosphere in rolling sheets, turning the ashen plains below into a sea of ghostly light. Commander Eric Vale adjusted the cracked visor of his combat suit and trudged on, boots crunching on black glass that had once been a city. His oxygen readout blinked a slow warning, but he ignored it. He had come here for one reason, and she was still ahead. She was kneeling at the heart of the crater, her silhouette sharp against the burning horizon. Her body, a humanoid shape wrapped in obsidian armor, radiated the kind of stillness that came before a storm. In her hand, she held the collapsed spear she had used to cut down 2 dropships without breaking a sweat. He knew her name now, Lyrithia, the alien warrior whose kind had been the terror of 3 sectors, the myth whispered through outposts and trenches. To most soldiers, she was a living nightmare, the face of extinction. To Eric, she was the one he had pulled out of the wreckage of a burning cruiser 2 weeks ago, carrying her on his back through enemy fire before he even knew who she was. She heard his footsteps and turned, her mask shifting with an insectal click. Her voice was low and resonant, vibrating in his chest rather than his ears. You shouldn't be here, human. I could say the same, Eric said, pausing a few meters from her. Your fleet's gone. The coalition's moving in. If you stay, you'll be captured or killed. A ripple went through her armor, something like laughter, something like sorrow. I am not leaving. Not as I am. Eric frowned. Meaning? Her mask tilted upward to the sky, where the green fire pulsed brighter. This form you see, it is not mine. It is a sheath, a prison I wear to spare the lesser minds around me. If I shed it, the truth will come forth, and no one who beholds it survives. She rose to her full height, easily 2 heads taller than him. This is the warning I give you, human. Turn back. Forget me. Live. Eric's heart was hammering, but he didn't step away. You think I'm afraid of you? You should be. I've fought things I was afraid of. He took a step closer. But you're not one of them. Her head tilted. You misunderstand. It is not fear that kills. It is comprehension. My final form is not for human eyes. It unravels minds. Your thoughts, yourself, they will burn. Eric swallowed, but his voice stayed steady. Then I'll burn seeing you as you are. For the first time since he had known her, she hesitated. The green fire flickered across her armor. Why? Why would you choose this? Because 2 weeks ago, he said quietly, I carried you out of that wreck. I could have left you. Should have. Maybe. But I didn't. And you didn't kill me when you woke up. You guided me through your ship. You saved me from the traps. You even fixed my suit when it cracked. I don't care what you are underneath, Lyrithia. I've seen enough to know you're more than the stories. Silence stretched. The winds howled across the crater. Finally, she said, then stay. But know this. Once begun, the metamorphosis cannot be undone. He met her gaze, or the blank, dark mask that passed for her gaze. I'm not going anywhere. She turned from him and walked to the center of the crater. At her feet, an ancient glyph pulsed with light, etched into the scorched earth. She knelt, pressing her hands to it. The ground trembled, cracks spiderwebbed outward. Eric's visor flickered with static. His suit's HUD scrambled. The air smelled of ozone and ash. The armor on Lyrithia's back split like the petals of flower. Shards of black carapace peeled away, clattering to the ground. Beneath it was light, not flesh, not metal, but a swirling constellation of stars contained in a shape his mind strained to understand. Her voice, now unbound, thundered across the crater. Not words, but a chorus of meaning. This is me, human. This is what your kind fears. Eric staggered back, his stomach lurching. Shapes moved inside her, a fractal infinity of wings, eyes, limbs, and memories. His thoughts fractured like glass. His name slipped from him, his past blurred, but he held on to one thing. Her, the being he had carried, the hands that had patched his suit, the low, resonant voice saying his name in the dark. He gritted his teeth, forcing his eyes to stay open. "Lyrithea," he croaked. The light flared. "You should be gone already. Your mind should be ash." "I'm still here," he gasped. "Still me. Still looking." Something in impossible geometry stilled. The wings folded inward. The eyes, millions of them, turned to him. "Why do you endure?" "Because I promise." His voice was raw. "Because you're more than a weapon. Because someone should see you, even if it kills them." The storm of light trembled. Then impossibly it softened. The wings folded tighter, the colors dimming to a bearable glow. "No one survived seeing my final form," she whispered inside his mind. "No one until you." Eric swayed but stayed upright. "Guess I'm stubborn." The light shrank further, coalescing into a shape closer to her armored form, but translucent, radiant. She stood before him, not human, not alien, but something vast compressed into a figure his mind could bear. She reached out. Her hand was a constellation of stars, yet it was warm when it touched his cheek through the cracked visor. "You are unchanged. You looked upon me, and you remain." He managed a smile. "Told you. For a heartbeat, or maybe a lifetime." The green fire above stilled. The crater was silent, except for the rush of his ragged breathing. Then, softly, "You have seen me. Truly, what do you see?" He looked at her, at the being who had terrified systems and now stood trembling before him. "I see someone who was alone for too long." Her glow flickered. "Alone. Yes. You don't have to be," he said. "Not anymore." Something like a laughless sound of stars colliding filled his skull. "Perhaps. But the war ends," he said firmly. "With you alive. With us walking out of here together." The light dimmed again, compressing into the shape of a tall, luminous woman. Not human, never human, but no longer unendurable. She stepped closer until they were inches apart. "If I go with you, they will hunt me. And you, let them," he said. "I'm not leaving you here." For a long time she was silent. Then she lowered her star hand and clasped his. His glove dissolved where she touched it, but his skin didn't burn. "Very well," she said. "Then we leave together." They walked out of the crater side by side. Above them the green fire faded, the sky returning to black. Eric's visor was dead now, but he didn't need it. The warmth of her hand guided him, and the ash underfoot no longer felt like the end of the world. Behind them, the glyphs of her metamorphosis sealed themselves, closing like a wound. Ahead, somewhere beyond the burning plains, the coalition forces waited. He knew the danger, knew what might come. But he also knew she was no longer just a legend, no longer just a weapon. She was someone, and he had seen her, truly seen her, and survived. And for the first time since the war began, Eric Vale believed there might be something after all this. Not just survival. Something better. Lyrithea squeezed his hand. "You looked upon me. You did not break." He smiled, exhausted but unbowed. "Guess I'm harder to kill than most." "Or braver," he chuckled. "Don't push it." The wind carried their laughter across the empty plains. Two figures, one human, one not, walking into whatever future waited, together.